Beta-Hydroxy-Beta-Methylbutyrate, better known as HMB, has been a very popular muscle building supplement since at least the 1990s, but instead of sharing with you testimonials, I believe you deserve to see the actual clinical research. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the research of what happens when older adults are given HMB supplements. And before you ask, I'm not selling HMB. I'm independent. I'm not an employee of any supplement company or pharmaceutical company either. So let's begin with this clinical trial where researchers basically took 24 healthy older men and confined them to bed for 10 days, after which they took part in an 8-week strength training program. During the entire study, some of the men took HMB supplements while others were given a placebo. Now, obviously, bed rest caused a significant loss of muscle mass. However, it was stated that HMB supplements appeared to preserve muscle. That's encouraging. However, also know that HMB supplements didn't build muscle or improve muscle strength any more than those people who took a placebo. In this next study, 16 older men were given HMB supplements or a placebo for 6 weeks, and they did leg exercises on one leg only to compare the muscle growth to the non-exercising leg. Results: both groups saw improvements in leg strength, but the improvement was not greater in those who took HMB supplements. The muscle size of the thigh muscle also increased in both groups, but again, HMB did not grow the muscle any more than exercise by itself. On the flip side, the authors also report that lean mass, presumably muscle mass, of the thigh did increase by about 6% more in the HMB takers compared to exercise by itself. And while that was a significant improvement, it wasn't significantly better than those who did not take HMB. When researchers in China gave older adults with sarcopenia HMB supplements and combined it with a 12-week strength training program using TheraBands, they reported significant improvements in hand grip strength. That's a common strength test that's done in the lab among those who were taking HMB supplements. They also reported significant improvements in gait speed and the ability to stand up from a seated position. Both of those improvements could translate into better quality of life in somebody who actually has low muscle mass. And to put that gait speed improvement in perspective, it came out to about 0.1 meters per second faster, and for those of us in the US, that comes to about 0.4 inches per second faster that they could walk. Regardless of how you feel of those results, you also need to know that HMB supplements did not improve muscle mass more than exercise alone. Now, this next paper is actually a larger clinical trial. It involves 156 women with low muscle mass who were randomly split into 4 different groups. There's an HMB plus exercise group, there's a placebo plus exercise group, there's an HMB plus healthy lifestyle education group, and as you can guess, also a placebo plus healthy lifestyle education group. Results: to quote the researchers, HMB does not enhance the effects of exercise on muscle mass, muscle strength, or physical performance. Now, they go on to say that HMB might actually improve gait speed. However, the boost in gait speed performance might actually be negligible and might not be noticed by most people. That said, in disclosure, I do want to point out that the researchers in this study actually used less HMB than most of the other studies that I've seen. Here's another clinical trial involving older men and women in their 80s who had sarcopenia, where HMB supplements were combined with a 3-month strength training program. Results indicated that women taking HMB showed significant improvements in hand grip strength. They could squeeze a dynamometer about 8 pounds harder than they could before. And when they followed up with these people about 9 months later, they found a slight improvement in grip strength even beyond which what they measured in the study. Conversely, those who were taking the placebo all this time actually showed a decline in hand grip strength. And while hand grip strength is nice to see, it doesn't always translate into real-world effects. However, these researchers also reported that HMB appeared to increase the ability of these older adults to stand up from a chair, and that's a much more realistic benefit. I also want to call your attention to this review of HMB supplementation in very sick people. 9 randomized clinical trials were evaluated, which prompted the researchers to conclude that HMB does not appear to improve survival rates among seriously ill people. Likewise, the supplement also doesn't appear to reduce the number of days spent in the hospital, and it doesn't seem to improve muscle mass either. Here's a table that summarizes the studies that I just mentioned, along with several others that I did not discuss. Take a close look at the results of these clinical trials and pay particular attention to the amount of HMB that was doses used in these clinical trials and compare that amount to the amounts of HMB that are in the supplements that you may be taking. Bottom line, based on the research that I was able to uncover, I've remained skeptical on the benefits of HMB for older adults. Now I know what you're thinking, what about HMB supplementation in healthy people who lift weights? And that's what we're going to tackle in the next video.